The United States government lied to you. Not about a small thing, not a cover-up, not a scandal. They lied to you about something that could change everything you believe about reality. And here's the part that should disturb you. They didn't do it to protect national security. They did it because they thought you couldn't handle the truth. And the files that prove it? They're already public. They've been sitting on a government website for over 10 years. Nobody told you to look. Now, let's talk about what's actually inside them.
It's real. All of it.
Most people think Area 51 is about aliens. Little green men, flying saucers, the stuff of movies and late-night radio shows. But what if that's exactly what they wanted you to think? What if the alien story, the entire UFO narrative, was never about covering up extraterrestrial contact, but about covering up something far more disturbing about us? Here's where it starts. 1. Cold War. The United States needs a place, a secret place, to build aircraft so advanced that even seeing one in the sky would cause a national panic. They find a dried-up lake bed in Nevada, 80 miles from any town, surrounded by mountains on every side, completely invisible to the outside world. They call it Groom Lake, but on a CIA map, it gets a grid number, Area 51. Now here's the first thing they didn't tell you. Within the first year of operation, base personnel started reporting lights in the sky. Not outsiders, not ranchers, not conspiracy theorists. The people who worked there. Trained military observers, engineers, scientists, reporting objects that moved in ways their own experimental aircraft, the most advanced aircraft ever built, could not replicate. And this is where things get disturbing. The Air Force investigated these reports, internally, quietly. And their conclusion wasn't weather balloon, it wasn't optical illusion, it wasn't pilot fatigue. Their conclusion, buried in a document that sat classified for 40 years, was simple and terrifying. They had no explanation. But they had a solution. Let people think it's aliens. You see, the U-2 spy plane, the aircraft they were secretly testing, flew at 70,000 feet, so high that sunlight still reflected off its fuselage long after sunset on the ground. Commercial pilots, flying at 30,000 feet, were seeing this bright, fast-moving object in a dark sky. The Air Force knew exactly what it was. They could have told people. They chose not to. And in the space that silence created, the UFO mythology was born. Now, you might be thinking, okay, so they used aliens as a smokescreen for spy planes. That's a cover-up, sure, but it's not that shocking. And that's exactly what they want you to stop at. Because on page 71 of the 2013 CIA declassification, 407 pages that the media spent exactly one news cycle on before moving on, there is a reference. Just a reference. A footnote. 11 words pointing to a program whose name is still blacked out. The description of that program reads, and I want you to really hear this: study of materials recovered from unscheduled aerial arrivals over restricted airspace. Unscheduled aerial arrivals. Not enemy aircraft, not weather events, not test flights from neighboring bases. Unscheduled aerial arrivals. Something was showing up above the most restricted airspace in America, and the US government was collecting whatever it left behind. Here's the real question, though. If this is all just experimental aircraft, if everything at Area 51 has a human explanation, why is that program name still classified? The Cold War ended in 1991. The U-2 and SR-71 programs are fully public now, declassified. Museums have these planes on display. So what, in 2024, is still so sensitive it can't be named? Let me tell you about something that happened in 2017 that almost nobody connected to this. The Pentagon, quietly, without a press conference, without any public announcement, admitted it had been running a secret program called ATIP, the Advanced Aerospace Threat Identification Program. $22 million, funded through a classified budget, running for years. Its entire purpose? To investigate aerial objects that U.S. military pilots were encountering. Objects that could accelerate from a standing stop to hypersonic speed. Objects that could change direction instantly. Objects that violated every known law of aerodynamics. And here's the thing that should stop you cold. The program director didn't quit because the findings were inconclusive. He quit because the findings were being suppressed. Luis Elizondo, former director, resigned in protest, wrote a letter directly to the Secretary of Defense saying, and I'm paraphrasing here, that what they discovered represented a genuine threat to national security and that the American people deserved to know. He went public. He went on record. And the government's response? They said the program had already been shut down in 2012. Except 3 former senators confirmed on record that the program was still active after that. So either the government lied about when it ended, or there were 2 programs. One they admitted to, one they didn't. Now imagine it. Picture it. It's 2 in the morning in the Nevada desert. The air is completely still. There is no light for 50 miles in any direction. The base is surrounded by sensors, cameras, armed patrols. Nothing gets in, nothing gets out. And yet, somewhere above that base, above the most protected piece of sky on Earth, something is moving. Something that doesn't respond to radar the way it should. Something that doesn't have a flight plan. Something that the most advanced tracking systems ever built occasionally just lose. What if the reason they built the base so remote wasn't to hide what they were making? What if it was to hide what kept showing up to watch them make it? I know how that sounds. And look, I'm not here to tell you what to believe. Here's what I know is true. The CIA used UFO mythology as deliberate cover for classified operations. That's in the documents. That's not speculation. I know that a classified program studying unidentified aerial objects existed inside the US government as recently as, officially, 2012. I know that the airspace above Area 51 has no altitude ceiling. Every other restricted zone in America caps out at a certain height. This one doesn't. Restricted, all the way up. And I know that in 2023, satellite images of Area 51 showed new construction, new hangars, new facilities, larger than anything that was there before. No announcement, no contract notice, no explanation, just bigger. Here's what nobody is asking. If everything that happened at Area 51 was human-made technology, things we built, things we understood, things we were proud of, why is so much of it still secret? The SR-71 Blackbird is in the Smithsonian. They gave us that one. But what did they keep? What if the things they recovered, the materials from those unscheduled aerial arrivals, weren't things they could explain? What if they've spent 70 years not covering up contact, but covering up the fact that they still don't understand what made contact with them? That would mean the most powerful military in human history has been sitting on something it cannot reverse engineer, cannot replicate, and cannot explain for 70 years. And if that's true, if even a fraction of that is true, then the real secret of Area 51 isn't what they found. It's that they found something that found them first. The files are real. They're public. I've linked every source in the description. Read them yourself. Make your own call. But here's what I need you to think about before you click away. If the government was willing to let millions of people believe in aliens, willing to let that story run for decades, just to hide what they were actually doing, what story are they letting you believe right now? Drop your answer in the comments. I read every single one. And if you want the next file opened, next week we're going into the Dyatlov Pass.